Alrighty, nice relaxing lunch in the Jeep. Let's see what's in the news today. Automotive news. What? 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 No! What's up, Bug Dog with D&E in the garage? Today we're going to talk about some little piece of automotive news. Pretty much all the automotive news right now is how bad the auto industry is doing. But then I sorted through all that and I stumbled on this very interesting piece of automotive news. Before we dig into it, I'm going to give a little bit of a triggering warning. This video is highly likely to trigger some people. If you are one of them tree-hugging eco-freaks, there's a good chance you're not going to like my take on it, but I don't really care. So, additionally, towards the end of this video, the second half, I'm going to do something that I was able to avoid for 2.5 full years on this channel. I'm going to just dip my toe into adding my political take on this. Politics online, very divisive. I want to keep the channel monetized. I want to keep all the viewers viewing, but I feel like I know y'all well enough and I think we would get along. So we're going to do that. What I'm talking about, of course, is the fact that because the automotive industry is doing so bad right now, plants are being closed down so they're not making cars. Dealerships are being closed down so they're not selling cars. People are not leaving their house even if the dealership was open to buy the cars that aren't being made. It's a mess, all right? We are likely not going to see a fully recovered automotive industry for years to come after this. Potentially some brands will not survive the storm. Ford, don't worry, they've got you. They came up with a great plan. They said, hey, y'all remember 2009? Cash for Clunkers? Let's just do that again. Why not? So Ford is in talks internally. They are starting to petition Congress to say, hey guys, remember that time you stimulated the automotive industry? You guys maybe want to do that again? That'd be great. So the first thing we're going to do today is talk about exactly what were the mechanics of Cash for Clunkers, because it seems like Ford, and I'm sure other automakers are talking about it, it's not just Ford. That's what they want, like that exact type of thing, because in their minds it worked so well. We're going to talk about exactly what it was, the mechanics of it, and then I'm going to give you some reactions to it, and we're going to talk about some real world impacts, whether or not it was successful the first time, whether or not it would be successful today. Let's dig into her. So here's what Cash for Clunkers was, a la 2009. The government said, hey, if you own a clunker, an old car, we will give you a certain amount of money towards a new one if it hits certain criteria. What you need to know about Cash for Clunkers, yes, it was designed to stimulate the US auto market. Notice I didn't say the world auto market. That's going to be important later. The US auto market, but it was also a green initiative. All right, very much a green initiative meant to bring the average miles per gallon across all cars in the United States way up. All right, so that we can look better to all our global neighbors. I'm going to now consult my notes, as remembering large amounts of numbers is not my forte. If it was, I probably would not have to make YouTube videos as a second job. So in order for your clunker to apply for the either $3,500 or $4,500 rebate towards the new vehicle, the car had to be registered and in use for 1 year. Obviously, this was to prevent people from just going and buying a wrecked car and taking it in. So you had to have the car registered and in use for a year. In order for you to qualify this program, the vehicle that you are purchasing had to be $45,000 or less. So not a lot of Porsches being sold for Cash for Clunkers. Now, they break down the miles per gallon requirements between cars, light trucks, HD trucks, and work trucks. For cars, all right, the average city and highway mileage of the car you're trading in, the clunker, had to be 18 miles per gallon or less, the combined, all right? And if the car you were purchasing was 4 miles per gallon better than that, you got $3,500, and if it was 10 miles per gallon better, it was $4,500. For light trucks, it was the same thing, it had to be 18 miles per gallon or less. If you got one that was 2 miles per gallon better, you got $3,500. 5 miles per gallon better, you got $4,500. For HD trucks, it had to be 15 miles per gallon or less. So if your HD truck got 16 miles per gallon, it wasn't a clunker. If it got 15, you're good to go. If the HD truck or vehicle you were buying was 1 mile per gallon better, you got $3,500, 2 miles per gallon, $4,500. For some reason, they broke it out for work trucks and then made it totally different for work trucks. Work trucks, it had to be 2001 or older. If it hit that, no matter what the miles per gallon or whatever, $3,500, no $4,500 option. Over the course of this program, 690,114 clunkers were junked at a cost of $2.877 billion to the US government. Now, in another video, I kind of broke down, there's a list. You can see a list of all the vehicles that were trashed on Cash for Clunkers, and I go through the appropriate amount of outrage over some of the vehicles that monkey with toolboxes like you and me like, that other people traded in as a clunker. There are some notoriously big name vehicles on there, like Bentley or something. I don't remember. I'll link the video somewhere if you want to go see it. A lot of the cars on the list have been brought into question because it has been alleged that there was a lot of fraud going on. You don't say. Yes, fraud going on in a government-funded program. I'm as shocked as you are. Now, the cars that were purchased, remember, this was to stimulate the U.S. auto market. The top 10 cars purchased via the Cash for Clunkers program. Number 1, Toyota Corolla. Number 2, Honda Civic. Number 3, Toyota Camry. I almost just puked reading all those 3 in a row. Number 4, Ford Focus front-wheel drive. Number 5, Hyundai Elantra. Who is buying these vehicles? Number 6, Nissan Versa. Number 7, the Toyota Prius. I mean, just a win of a vehicle. Number 8, Honda Accord. Number 9, Honda Fit. Oops, I threw it too early. What was number 10? Ford Escape front-wheel drive. I get it. Those are all very fuel-efficient vehicles. Unfortunately, not a lot of them helped the big 3 who this was meant to help. This program was meant to bail out the big 3, Chrysler, Ford, Chevy, GM, and there was a lot of Honda, Toyota on there, some Nissan. Not a single GM or Chrysler vehicle. You did have 2 Ford vehicles. Whatever, man. I don't care what people buy. You don't care what you buy. I don't care what I buy. Or flip that, reverse amateur hour. I won't care what you buy. You don't care what I buy. Let's stay off each other's property and we'll be fine. This is what really digs in my craw. Cars that were junked. The top 10 cars that were junked. Number 1, Ford Explorers. Your Eddie Bauer editions. Number 2, Ford F-150s. You know, a couple of those went to the crusher with the 7.3s in them. Number 3, Jeep Grand Cherokee. Number 4, Ford Explorer 2-wheel drive. I guess the number 1 was 4-wheel drive. Number 4 was 2-wheel drive. Number 5, Dodge Caravan and Grand Caravan. Say it ain't so on the minivans. Nobody tell Eric. Number 6, Jeep Cherokee. Number 7, Chevrolet Blazer 4-wheel drive. Number 8, Chevrolet C15 pickup truck. That's the OBS body style we've all fallen in love with so much over the past few years. Number 9, Ford F-150 4-wheel drive. Again, the first one was 2-wheel drive. Number 10, Ford Windstar front-wheel drive van. Now, the reason, obviously, let's just go for me. For me, I find this whole program abhorrent because, as an automotive historian and a fan of old clunkers, it's abhorrent to me that the number 3 and the number 6 most destroyed vehicle over Cash for Clunkers are the vehicles that I've spent my life collecting. Jeep Cherokees and Jeep Grand Cherokees. And peppered in there are a bunch of vehicles I'd like to own. F-150s with the 7.3, Ford Explorer is actually a really cool underappreciated vehicle. Some OBS Chevy, Blazers are very cool. Minivans, you know, people need minivans, man. We don't get those vehicles back. And for Cash for Clunkers, to be clear, they had to be destroyed. It's not like they were crushed. They had to have acid poured down their engine block or something. So for me, just face level for what I do as an automotive historian, as a person who likes to collect vehicles of a certain time period and of a certain type that a lot of people see as clunkers, it really bums me out because, as we all know, it's getting harder and harder to find straight, clean, serviceable versions of old Explorers, old Grand Cherokees. Forget about XJs, man. XJs are officially on the endangered species list. You can get them, but they've been hooped to death by 4 separate high school seniors in their line of secession, and there's just nothing left of them. And if you find a clean one, people are paying like 15 grand for clean XJ Cherokees. Y'all better watch out, and if you got a clean one, I'm looking at you, Just Jeep It and Project Dan. Y'all better be holding on to those, because that's XJs are gonna fetch Barrett Jackson money someday. I'm just saying, all right? Now we can move on from that because I understand that the world outside of the idiot shade tree mechanic monkey with a toolbox community cares about things like miles per gallon and emissions and hugging the earth and saving the planet and driving boring cars so that our future generations can breathe clean air, blah, 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 blah. here's the bigger issue that I have with a program like this. Okay, we're gonna get just a little political. Oh boy. I gotta psych myself in. Any of you who follow my private Instagram, not the D&E, the Doug on the other channel, you know that I have some pretty volatile political beliefs. I'm gonna try to dilute them as much as possible. All right. The first thing to remember, any government program is a taxpayer-funded program. So first of all, I resent the fact that the taxes that are taken from me would be used to fund a project that I fundamentally do not support. I don't think that yes, Cash for Clunkers stimulated the auto market as a whole, but it didn't do a whole lot to help the US automakers, the big three. And I know cars are made all over and Toyota's made in Georgia, but this was designed to help the big three. That's what it was helped to design. That's what it was designed to help, and it didn't really do that. They forgot to put a clause in there that said you have to buy a car from one of the big three. All right, so it didn't do what it was supposed to last time, and I don't have a lot of faith that correct things would be put in place to ensure that it helped the right people this time. I just don't have any faith in that. The bigger question here about constantly bailing out the auto industry, with the situation that we're in right now, the auto industry is not the only industry that needs to be bailed out. I'm trying to keep this as far away from politics and just bring up talking points. The airline industry, devastated. Hotel industry, devastated. Don't even get started on the cruise industry. When's the next time anyone over the age of 21 is going to feel comfortable going on a cruise? Sometime in 2030? I love cruises and I just can't even, I'm sorry. I'm off that now. The entertainment industry as a whole, they can't make movies. People can't go to the movie theaters. You can't go see live concerts. Sports leagues are hurting. The XFL folded after what, 4 games? Specifically because of this one thing that I'm not going to say because then demonetize my video. Can't talk about current events, otherwise you're the enemy of the state. And a bigger question here is, what about small business? I think small business needs to be protected. The point I'm getting at is, I hope that this does not get past the talking phase. For our car culture, because the XJ Cherokee and the ZJ Grand Cherokee and the WJ Grand Cherokee and the old S10 Blazers and the Ford Explorers, they cannot survive another Cash for Clunkers. Additionally, something to remember, what happened in 2009 was the used car market went through the roof, because now all of a sudden, oh, you're gonna give me $2,000 for my beat up old XJ? I think I'm gonna go get $4,500 for it and just buy a new Nissan Sentra. That is literally what happened. That's what happened. So not only were there less XJs, but the ones that were out there went through the roof in price. That will happen again. I'm saying this because I know all of you out there in viewerland are like me and you only buy used cars. I bought one new car in my vehicle. One new vehicle in my life. Amateur hour. Slow down, buddy. I get excited when I talk about politics and Jeeps and cars in general and most things. I'm an excitable person. I bought one new car in my life. It'll potentially be the last one I ever buy just because I hope it lasts for a good long time, and then at that point maybe whatever. Doesn't matter. We buy used cars. This matters. Something to keep on the radar. Also, I just think fundamentally we're highlighting one industry to save repeatedly. I know we need it, and I know a lot of you are auto manufacturing employees, and like I'm not saying I don't want them to save your industry. It's just we have to look at this realistically. Are we also going to do this for the airline industry? Are we also going to do this for the cruise industry? Are we also going to do this for the hotels and the entertainment? Should the government step in and save the XFL? I mean, I don't know. All those people did lose their jobs, so we just have to take a step back. I understand everybody kind of wants a handout right now. Whenever you're damaged, everybody feels like they deserve a handout, and everybody on the planet is damaged in one way or another right now. But I think we need to slow down, though I do believe that this will probably happen. If I had to guess, I know how our government works and how things work, and the auto lobby is a pretty big lobby, so it's probably going to happen. Let's discuss as civilly as possible, as civilly as possible, down in the comments, down in the squawk boxes, what you think about the last Cash for Clunkers, what you think about the potential of a new Cash for Clunkers coming. I do think, I brought this up because I really do think it's going to happen. It just seems like the kind of thing, it's a nice quick fix, everybody will like it, except us here. So I'd love to know what you guys think. As always, I hope you're staying safe and sane out there during this very crazy time. I don't want to dig into that anymore. Let's have fun, even though this was kind of a negative topic video. Let's just have some fun discussing it down there in the squawk boxes. Let me know what you think. That's really all there is to that. If you like the video, that's common sense, right? Subscribe to the channel. Consider checking us out on Patreon and on Etsy. I hope you all are staying safe and sane right now. My thoughts are with all of you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.